Hi, my name is Charlie, and I am going to talk about what it means to be a better reader. And this is a little bit embarrassing because there are a lot of people just around me, and I have to talk in such a way like this in a cafe. I didn't intend to have to work in front of too much people, but what am I going to do? I have to do this. The reason why I'm recording this video is because I have been making a lot of videos around education, about Confucian literature, about some book reviews, and I'll do more book reviews. The reason I'm talking about this topic is because I do this every day. And it's really nothing new to me. It's actually something very embarrassing to me. And I have nothing to boast for with this. How to read more books, how to make it daily in your routine. I think one of those things that people just forget to mention is creating an environment where you are able to do this in the first place. And that environment has very little to do with going to school. Very little. I mean, unless you're in a STEM-related field in your majors, it just has nothing to do with that. Because, with mathematics and science, you have to read a lot. But I found that even those subjects, I have a few friends who are in those subjects, they really don't read a lot of books, even them. So, what to say about other people? I'm gonna make this video quite curt. I think about 10 minutes at most, maybe 15 minutes if I have a lot of time. But when I say an environment is important, I think it's a bit similar to how I'm making this video. When I say environment, I mean it has to be in rhythm, in sync with what you are already doing. When I say it has to be in sync with what you are already doing, I mean that just like playing games, computer games, you don't really think about it. But that environment is already established in front of you, so you have to do it. Whether people force you to play games or not, just like that, reading has to be that quite similar to that. To play games, it doesn't have to be like computer games, video games. It can be like playing some sports. It's the same principle. The environment, I think, is when I just talk to a lot of people these days, and just seeing how society is changing. I think establishing an environment is the most underrated thing that people don't think about in terms of how to make their reading more routine, more embedded in their ecosystem. So for me, I read more in cafes. I don't read in my home. I just don't. because I don't know why. I mean, there are a lot of people in this world throughout history who wrote better or read better inside their homes. They had their own study. Like Stephen King is one of those peoples. And another type of person exists, which is like George Gurdjieff or like, what's his name? Ernest Hemingway, where they kind of write better outside or in cafes. For example, Hemingway would always go outside in Paris or in Europe when he was traveling there, always writing in cafes, even in America. If it's not cafes, it would be like things like bookstores. I don't know why it wouldn't be libraries, but it's written that he went to bookstores. This is one of the ways that you can create an establishment, an environment for you to read a little bit more. It would be great if I could teach you how to be more like Warren Buffett, but I don't know if that's kind of my expertise. Like, reading more about the charts. I mean, I do the same thing. I study more mathematics rather than the charts, or more than investments. I study more mathematics, but I think it's the same principle in the essential nature of things. Because what's the difference between reading papers, financial statements, or charts, or mathematics? It's just kind of the same thing. Okay, now. I hear so many people say, environment is not important. You just have to read. It's such a load of BS that I think it's an embarrassing statement to even make that. Because, especially the country I'm living is in Korea, where people are saying that, what do I say? Now I thought about it. People say like, you just have to go inside your study, just get a book and just read. Whether there are children outside just screaming, whether your parents are just like nagging at you to do your homework when you just want to read, it doesn't matter. You just have to go in your study and read. I think it's kind of like saying like you can do yoga very well without a still mind. Actually, it kind of goes the same way. You have to be in parallel with the mind and the body with yoga. It's the same thing with studying. If your mind is not at the right place, your environment will not be in the right place. So that's why I'm emphasizing the importance of an environment. So what kind of place you are in, that makes you better. I'm an extrovert. An MBTI, I am an ENT. So maybe cafes are just the best place for me. The reason why cafes and bookstores are best places for me, I know Korea, where I'm living, is very introverted. But even in introverted countries, there are quite a few extroverts, especially in bookstores, where when I'm reading all the time, and I just need to think about a problem, and it just doesn't come to me. And I just talk to a person who's just next to me in a bookstore, or when I'm walking around and I'm, just like in the aisle, and just asking a question about what book they're reading. I get better ideas, and sometimes you can make friendships, but that's not really my goal. It's kind of like pickup basketball, where you can't get better just by playing basketball alone. You have to go to a pickup basketball court, play with a lot of people. It's the same thing with libraries and bookstores. I don't think Hemingway did this. I do this. But I need this in order to think better. Like, it's just I'm not playing pickup basketball, but I'm doing pickup bookstores or something like that. So that's the environment that I created myself, but for an introvert, it might be different. That's what you need to do. So don't ignore environment. You know, it's kind of like saying you can do yoga with a bad. You can do yoga with a bad mind. The whole point of yoga is to have a better mind, or a still mind. So it's the same thing with book reading, to put it in your routine. I think I can make this 30 minutes. Perhaps I will do that. The other thing I do is always have music. To me, vibes are important. Vibration is important, and music is one of those ways to manipulate your vibration. I listen to classical music. I listen to sometimes. I mean, very few times. I listen to Eminem, Beach House, whatever it is. I think it's important just to put yourself in a mood. Perhaps if you're enlightened, like Patanjali in Yoga Sutras, the guy who wrote Yoga Sutras, if you're enlightened, maybe you don't need any vibrations. But you know, we're all kind of like unenlightened people. We need things to help us aid our other important missions in life. Your mission here is to read a bit more, so I think a certain bit of music is important. It's just this is what I do. The other thing is, wherever you are, make sure the sound is good. Whether you like silence, for me, I like rain sounds in my house. Like, I'm just saying, like, whatever sound there is, make it a thing where you enjoy it. Yeah. Perhaps the most important thing I want to say in this video is perhaps the power structures you create to create such a habit like reading. It's going to be very controversial, what I say here. I saw virtually nobody talk about this. And maybe a lot of people would disagree with this, but this is one of the most important things to make reading into your daily habits. And it's something that I observed a lot of people do. They try to put a routine or anything else. It doesn't have to be reading, but they just don't consider this to be important. But it's very important, which is a power structure. What do I mean by this? To put it simply, it's just like a political system, but it's geared towards yourself. It's not a political system of a country, but it's your own political system. To do this, you need a correct mind. You need a good mind. You need to be a righteous person. But it's okay. What I mean by this is, for example, some people don't like people who read too much. Just people don't like it. People don't like. Also, some people don't like people who are very extroverted, who socialize very well. These people will try to stop you from. People will try to stop you from reading. They'll create a certain environment. They'll try to bully you into not reading. For example. So it's those people that you have to kind of get rid of to create this established routine where you can read a bit more, you know? It's a very important thing, but this is something very gross, right? It's not something complicated. But I'm saying to create such a routine in your life, you have to do these complicated things. One of the most complicated things is discarding the education system that has been embedded inside your brain. So much of school taught you to not be a better reader. I don't care what country you're in. I'm living in Korea. I've been into American schools, but whether you're in America, Korea, or China, get that stuff out of your mind. The education system. The most important thing is to change how your brain works, how your inside works in terms of the correct political system. It's not the outside person that's really bothering you in terms of trying to bully you into not reading. You may think so, but it's actually yourself. He's a reflection of yourself. If you're a person who really doesn't care about those kind of people, those people just kind of like fade away. The reason why they're attracted to you is because you attract them. Some might say, "Oh, going to school makes me not read." But is that school? Is the school something to be blamed? Not really. It's actually you. You're the one attracted to that school. Maybe you're going to that school because of money. You have this attachment to being rich. I mean, these days it's going to be easier because it's been proved, throughout history. Actually throughout history, but even in news cycles, in CNN, whatever it is, they try to say schools are just not important in terms of being rich these days. Where in the past, this was difficult to understand. Especially through artificial intelligence, this became easy to understand. But however the case, you have to understand that people make schools and their attachments to money destroy their routine in terms of reading. So it may be a family member that's trying to stop you from reading. I know this sounds very weird. I mean, what kind of family member will try to stop you from reading? I'll tell you, there's a lot of people like that. It can be your friends. I'm not saying to cut them off, but you need to be in a certain poise or in a certain mindset where those people don't feel the need to try to stop you. And the blame always goes to yourself. When that person is trying to stop you, always remember, he's a reflection of yourself. He's trying to stop you. If you're truly dedicated to reading, those people, they're not even in your RAS, reticular activation system. That's what they say. They're just not in your reality because they're just so stupid. Perhaps they're just so stupid and dumb. You just don't even care about them. So, again, I'm going to say the right political system has to be inside your heart. I think this is one of the best examples. The next video I'm going to make is about I Ching, and one of the persons who's always been given great respect to this book is Confucius. And one of the disciples of Confucius was Mencius. And Mencius said, one of the kings who said, hey, I don't think Confucius is a great man. I don't know why people are so worshiping him. He's never been in a big political government job. He has been for maybe like 3 years, but since then, he's just been a teacher. Why would I have to learn something about politics from Confucius? And Mencius said, well, maybe he wasn't in a political office for a long time, but he had 3,000 disciples. That itself is governance. You don't have to have a king. You don't need to be a king or in an office to understand political governance. Whatever place you are in, that's political governance, whether it's a family, 300 people, 3 people, 3,000 people, which was Confucius' disciples' population. That's all population. I mean, that's all governance. And Mencius said that's why you have to think of governance in the same way. You can't think of it in a certain, you have to be in a certain place, you have a certain location to be a king. No, you're a king wherever you go. You're governing wherever you go. You know, like I'm not saying you're a king, I'm not saying you're a leader, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying wherever you are, you have to govern the right circumstances, right relationships with your ministers, whatever, with your subordinates, whether your leader, your boss, whatever it is, to make sure there's no corruption. Maybe your professor is stopping you from reading the Brothers Karamazov. I had that once in my life. One teacher tried to stop me from reading that. She said, "Oh, you have to study your SATs. You have to read your vocabulary book." You know, what kind of idiot is he? And he went to, I thought he went to Cornell University. I mean, there's a lot of stupid people, and it's those people you have to kind of like cut off or kill. Metaphorically, of course. I'm just joking. I don't mean you have to really kill them, but like in your life, just like get them off, kill off them. So metaphorically, so. This is so important. The reason I said you need to, I'm not gonna make this. I'm not gonna drag on to this. But I'm just saying that's how important this is. You know, I mean, this is the most important thing. If you want to create a routine, something like reading. You know, Confucius thought reading was kind of a religious activity, which is something that we've lost as modern times has come by. We've lost the sense that maybe reading is a religious activity, but it really is. The more you see it as a religious activity, you can make this reality come true. The second point that I made, that not only the environment, but the governance system you create for yourself so that people don't bully you into not reading. You know, having a job can be the same sense. I mean, maybe your job is stopping you from reading. Maybe you work in a bookstore, but you're just piling books all the time. That you're binding books all the time. You forget to read. So I'm saying you have to know how to counter that. And the best way is to have a good mind, a righteous mind. Because if you don't have a righteous mind, creating a right governance system will only create more havoc in your head, and you're not going to be able to create a routine, a ritual for reading. So I mean, if this still puzzles you, but it's still kind of like you kind of understand what I'm saying, but you don't totally understand it, you can ask questions on comment sections, please. I'll try to answer it. I mean, it's very hard to talk about this. It's so prevalent, yet it's the elephant in the room, but nobody talks about it. So that's what I'm talking about. The last point I want to make is, thank you for listening to this until here. I'm gonna make a new video anyhow. Wow, it's very difficult. All right, it's to the last point I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make much more videos like this because that's why I think the best videos tend to be things that you don't really prepare for. You don't prepare for it, you just make it because you're so enamored by the subject that you don't really think about it. It's the things you don't work on every day in your life that you prepare for. This is very unprepared. So at the same time, I'm sorry, but at the same time, I'm not sorry because it's my expertise. The last point I'm going to say is you have to read something that you're very interested in. It comes back to the second point that I made. You have to create a good governance. For example, the guy who said, "Don't read Brothers Karamazov" to me, because it was something of my interest to read that book. And there are going to be some people who say, "Don't read what you're interested in. Read something that I told you to read." You have to read what you're interested in. This goes for mathematics. This goes for fiction books, non-fiction books. I mean, how do I go to the minute details of this? I don't know how to explain it. Like, even if I explain it in the best articulate way possible, it's not gonna suffice. It's just not gonna. It really doesn't matter how good I explain this. Just do the same. Just apply this principle, not just in reading a different language or your own language or mathematics or trying to study investing or money. It doesn't matter. Just read what you're interested in, and creating rituals for it will become easier. I guess the best metaphor, I mean, it's probably like 4 minutes right now. It's gonna be the last ways I'm gonna make. What we're trying to do is create rituals for reading, right? So that you can read 4 hours, 5 hours a day. Like Warren Buffett, he reads 7 hours a day, so he says, I kind of believe it. That's what he does. The world is kind of like music, right? The world. I'm not talking about the heavenly world. I'm talking about the materialistic world, the earthly world. And you have to kind of like be abiding with the music of the world, with the vibration of the world. And music is kind of like rituals. And but the world is also kind of similar to the world or the heavens. It's not so different. You know. So be loving to the world. Be loving with your rituals. Be loving with the books you read. I'm saying that's why I said be religious with your books, like Confucius said. So even the subjects you encounter has to be something you really love and are very interested in. You have to be interested in the book to really be good at it. Because we all have different talents, right? We have all different talents. So what kind of books you read, what kind of writings you leave in this world before you die will be different. So why do you try to read books that other people tell you to do? It's a very stupid phenomenon to actually abide by this. Don't make this stupid mistake. Don't just do what you are supposed to do. It's kind of like people saying, "Oh, you have to play basketball like Kobe Bryant. You have to play basketball like Michael Jordan." It's stupid. You have to be yourself. It's the same thing with books. The same thing with books. It's actually more minute. It's actually more important with books to abide by this principle of just being yourself and doing what you're interested in. And usually people who force other people to read in their own way, they tend to be incompetent readers. How do I know this? Well, be a competent reader yourself. Then you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Well, anyways, thank you for listening to this. I'll make more videos like this. Any comment section, like this video, whatever it is, subscribe. Any suggestions, write on the comment section.